Hi, it's Jeremy. Today we're going to have a little play around with using the annotation functions in PathCloud, which is the cloud-based image management system marketed by Gestalt Diagnostics in the US. And for full disclosure, I collaborate with them in developing the platform. I just want to focus on annotations today, and then we can do other tutorials about creating your own studies and uploading them and sharing them. But the way we've created it at the moment is if you received a link to this particular study, which is Rupert's exam, some of you may have seen it, this is what will open when you follow the link. We've configured it so that this is what shows as you first open it. It includes the slide tray at the left, which you can minimize, but the default setting is that it's open, so you know where it is. It'll have, it'll actually initially have that overview of the tissue on the slide, and it will have the positional overview, which tells you where you are in the image at any time. As you zoom in, that box tells you where you are, and you can control the where you are in the main image by dragging that box around or clicking on that positional overview. And because of a lot of users already having stated their preference, that will be open, and this will be open. But if you want them closed, you can minimize them. And then you can, by minimizing the image on the tissue, you create a preference such that when you drag across another image, that stays hidden, but the positional overview will reopen each time. That's just a user preference. But you can reopen them, and if you reopen them, this the tissue on the slide image and drag another image across, that'll stay open, but I want to close, so we're going to close it. So as you probably worked out, to open an image in the slide tray, you can either double click it or just click and drag. It'll open, and then you can annotate it. So the annotation functions are at the top. There is a drop-down menu for the different tools. There's a drop-down menu for modifying the annotations once you've applied them using the tools. There's a function for saving them, we'll talk about. This is to resume the cursor as a panning function, so when you click on that, your cursor now won't add more annotations, it'll just pan around. We only need to open this file once. Because PathCloud uses DICOM images and converts them to DICOM after they've been uploaded, there's more information you can add into the DICOM folder here, but it's not really relevant now. We could discuss it later maybe. I probably didn't mention it all, but I assume you already know that the function of scrolling and zooming is what you're used to with all the other systems you've used. PathCloud is like Sectra, is like Sedine, is like ImageScope, is like PathPresenter. Basically, you know, you drag images around, use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out, or if it's a touch screen, you just manipulate the image as you would, so there's nothing new there. So we're going to discuss adding annotations. So you click up here. If you want to measure a linear dimension, you use the ruler, the line function. So you click it, and then you click where you want to start the line, drag it across, click a second time, and it will stop, and it will create that annotation. The annotations appear on the right, which if it's minimized, you control by this arrow here, and that name is a default from some previous annotations I've done. But if you want to change the name to your preference, you click the annotation pen, and then you can put in whatever you want to say here. That's the length of a certain part of tissue, and that title will then appear here. The length is here, so that's in microns, so that's 4.7 millimeters. But you can change the name as many times as you like with that function. You can download the dimensions and coordinates of the annotation as a CSV file here, and if you do that, it'll create a separate tab underneath the main image, and that will store the annotation data. I won't do it for now, we're just perfecting that little function. The annotations as they appear are numbered 1, 2, 3 sequentially, so we'll just put another one in, and this time we'll use the point. So you just simply click where you want to apply that, it'll create another annotation. We're just going to call that LVSI. Let's say that was a point that we wanted to annotate for someone else's use. Then we're going to add a polygon. That's a closed object with as many sides as you want to add. Each time you click, it creates a corner of the object. Click, 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 and then click again, and it closes it. There's that appeared here. We don't want to call it LVSI, we can call it something else. Call it area of something interesting. Save that, and that'll have the area enclosed by the object. You can add a circle, click, and then drag it to the size you want, then click again, it embeds it. You can add a square like that, any shape you like, as long as it's oblong or square. You can freehand draw a polygon, so it can be quite a complex shape, but it'll always be a closed object with an area. So you can see the area here, 43 millimeters squared. Or you can do a freehand, which is always going to remain a line, so you can create as much complexity with this in terms of applying the line, but you won't be able to close it and make an object, so that will remain a distance. Whereas the previous one, which was a polygon, it has an area inside it. Now if you want to go to any of those annotations, just click on the annotation in the sidebar, which you will have labelled in ways that probably are meaningful, but it'll take you to each individual one so you know where they are. There's that LVSI here. It'll appear in yellow, and the rest will remain green, so you can pick out any of the annotations by clicking them here. When you want to get rid of them, just hover the arrow over the number and click X, and they disappear. If you was to download these as that function now, it would capture all those 5 annotations and put them in the folder over here. And then once you've done that, they would disappear, but you could then retrieve them each time you open the image by just opening that CSV folder, but at the moment it doesn't exist there. We haven't created one. We'll go through that when we've perfected it. That's how the images annotations work. You can play around with that, and we can next time go through some other features of PathCloud, including how to create your own study, upload images, give them the labels you want, and share them. Good, thanks. See you next time.